hey, straight outdoors, huh? So, all my friends started getting into being adventurous. So I joined in, and I was a photographer, so I still am. So it seems like a good subject matter to go out to places in the outdoors and take pictures of landscapes. It's a well-known thing that people that take pictures do. So my friend invited me to this lagoon that is called the Lagoon of Siecha, which is up in the northeastern mountain range of the Andes down in Colombia, where I'm from. And I was born and raised in Bogota, which is up like 10,000 feet above sea level. So the fact that the lagoon is at 11,400 feet in altitude wasn't too much of an issue, but it was still something that you had to consider when you planned out your packing and how long and the hike and all that stuff, so that you didn't have like problems with your breathing. So one of the guys, some of the people of the team, because these guys were like these things were not camping trips, these were expeditions. So it was pretty serious, and they were really good at it. And some of the team was already up there, and there was one guy that was an expert in this kind of stuff, and he was going to meet them there. So I went with him, and we took a bus to a little village that is called Huasca, and then we started walking from there to get up to like this place that we were going at. And this guy starts walking, and it's like, I'm just a civilian. He starts walking, he's just going away. I don't know how he does it, and I'm like an hour behind him. But this place is there's nothing there, so you can see him. And this is up in the mountains, so the vegetation is not thick. It's green and beautiful, but I could see him, and he was an hour ahead of me. So, I just basically followed him, and he was this acquiescent, like there was like a lot of quiet there. Like you're just kind of like by yourself, walking through this beautiful place, carrying all your gear. So it was a beautiful experience. And one of the things that I like the most are these plants that grow there that are called frailejones. And they look kind of like those lamb's ears. Have you seen those? These little white fluffy plants. And they grow really slowly. And these things grow like an inch every 100 years. And every now and then you find yourself around these patches that are like 7 foot tall. And there's something about those plants being how much time is that? I don't even understand. But it's quite an experience, like some metaphor of resilience and strength and time. So the place was beautiful. So we keep on walking, and once we get up there, everybody is very contemplative, just kind of like enjoying the quiet and the space that you have there. Being from Bogota, which is a huge, bustling city. And you can see everything from up there. This is all the way up on the top of the mountain. There's a small little lagoon there, and there's like a range of rocks that are like slate, and it looks like the whole thing kind of like toppled down, and it's like bent sideways. It's gorgeous. And from there you can see for miles, and if it's a clear day, you can see really, really, really far away, all the way out to the other mountain range of the Andes, because the Andes spreads into 3 ranges once it gets into Colombia. So you can see like the top of the snow mountains all the way across. It's beautiful. So we're just sitting there, kind of looking out, because that's what you do there, taking photographs every now and then. And we see 6 guys riding horses coming towards us. We see them from far away. We were kind of like, that's kind of exciting. And for some reason, at that point I've been there for 2 days, they've been there for a week. Somehow everything is so extraordinary that it feels like you've been there for months. And we see these people, and like somehow we're kind of driven to walk towards them. Maybe it's like a human thing. We're like, oh, people that are here, maybe we can discuss this experience. Take a photograph, see what they think about this whole thing. We meet, they're walking towards us, we're walking towards them, there's nothing else happening, and we meet. And they weren't very friendly, not too aggressive, but they pointed their rifles at us, gestured to walk back to our campsite. We went back to our place, and they took pretty much everything that we had, except for the minimum that we needed to survive the night. And it gets pretty tricky up there because it gets cold, and I didn't know, but the adventurous expeditioners were like, dude, you need to leave us this much water, sleeping bags, this and that, and the guys agreed, and they took everything else, including my camera. I always wanted to see those photographs. I'm hoping one day they show up on the web or something. But things were going very well. And so we're standing there kind of like, fuck, still quiet, and now we're watching them right away. And all of a sudden we're startled by a voice that is none of ours, and it says like, we can catch up with them if we go through the marsh. And we'll turn around and we're like, what the? And there's this Indian guy there. out from. And he says that. He says, we can catch up with them. We go through the marsh and there's a police station. There's a police encampment there. They'll help us out. And we're like, okay. So these guys know what they're doing. So they say, okay, half of the team stays here. You prepare a big campfire just in case we get, because it's sunrise, it's almost sunset. So they say, we will build 3 stay here. You build a big campfire. That way if we get lost and we get caught in the dark, we follow the light back. And 3 of us go with the guy, with the Indian. And we were kind of like, okay, let's do it. And we were like, okay, where's the marsh? Because the marsh doesn't really look like anything. It looks like, it's like up in the mountains, so there's not a lot of vegetation. So it just looks like grass, but it's actually like a swamp. So we run, in those days I was in shape, everybody was in shape. So we run for like a mile. It takes us like, 7 minutes to get there. And then the Indian is running in front, we're running behind. We're like, catch these motherfuckers. And hopefully the cops will be there and it's gonna be cool. And I'll get my camera back, take some pictures. It'll be awesome. And then we're running, and then we get to the marsh, and we know we get to the marsh because all of a sudden we sink all the way up to here. We're all like, holy! But the Indian is on top. And we're like, okay, what's the deal here? How are you doing that? And what are we looking for? Like, this is not working for us. And he's like, just make yourself lighter. We're like, okay. How do you mean? It's like just go. You'll find your rhythm. So we kind of tried, and you can do it for a little bit. And you're kind of like, and then you sing. And the guy is just going. He's like, he's like turns around and he's like, we're like, this is not gonna work. We're not gonna be able to do this. But we keep on trying, and then we get to one of the patches of the frailejones, and in the tree, which has grown kind of like 6 feet tall, kind of like about this height, there's a hat that this tree has grown through the hat. And the hat has all these little figurines carved in wood. They look like people. And the Indian saw them and said, oh, we can't go through here. There's bad magic. We gotta go back. There's nothing to do. And we were like, okay. We were like, trepidating back through the marsh. It was like, well, this is awesome. I don't know what we're doing. We get back to our campsite. And we're sitting there, and then we have a terrible night. Everybody's praying for it not to rain, because it gets really cold up there, and then the fog comes in, you can't see anything. And we had the worst night ever. And these guys decided that we were all sleep together, kind of like warm each other together. We're going to get up at the first sign of light, and we're going to head back. And so we do. We get up, but we are cold, and I give my first step, and I break my ankle. And I'm like, this is the great outdoors. It's a fiction. And one of the things that class was taken was my camera, which I loved, which was my father's camera. It was a great camera. And I also, this was pre-iPad, pre-all that stuff. This was the Walkman days. So I had a box of tapes, and they took all my tapes too. So I kind of never collected music ever again after that. But I keep doing photography.